So you're going to learn how to order rational numbers. You want to be able to put them in order. Rational numbers in order. Okay. Remember, rational numbers are numbers that make sense. They are fractions, decimals, percents. They're pretty much every number that you can think of. But the key to these is that they're going to be negative numbers also. So it's going to be negative, fractions, and decimals is basically what this lesson's about, how to put those in order. Okay, so your vocabulary word today is inequality. It's a statement that compares numbers that are not equal. So you're going to use inequality symbols like greater than or less than. You're actually going to put three numbers in a row in order, and when you do, you're going to have to have them in order so that the alligator is always eating the bigger number. So this says 2 is less than 4, which is less than 5. You always want it written that way, not 4, 2, 5. This, even though this looks like it makes sense, it's not the way it's done. The numbers have to be completely in order. You could reverse them all. You could say 5, 4, 2, and then the alligator would eat this way. You could use the greater than sign. 5 is greater than 4, which is greater than 2. That would be okay. But you can't have them not in order. All right, so how to order rational numbers. Step 1, change all the numbers to the same form, all fractions or all decimals. Okay, it's hard to compare one number that's a fraction with another number that's a decimal, and I'm going to recommend that you change them to decimals. Once you do that, you're going to use an inequality symbol, an inequality sign, to compare the numbers. If there are more than two numbers, put them in order from greatest to least, or least to greatest. Now, remember that, this is important, remember that negative numbers are always less than positive numbers. It doesn't matter how big it is. So, negative 1 million is still greater than 2. Also, remember that negative numbers that have larger digits are farther below 0 than small negative numbers. So they're smaller. So let's say negative 856 and negative 99. Which number is smaller? Negative 856 is less than negative 99 because this number is farther below 0 than this number. That makes negative 99 greater. Think of temperature. If it was 856 degrees below 0, that's colder than 99 degrees below 0, even though they're both freezing. Okay, so let's do a couple examples. Put the following numbers in order, negative 1 1/8 and negative 1.63. So I need to turn them both into decimals. So I'm going to turn that into a decimal. I'm going to divide 1 by 8. 1 divided by 8 is 0.125. You could use a calculator if you just don't know it. So my numbers are negative 1.125 and negative 1.63. So you remember how to compare decimals. We've done this before. You line them up, you start at the left, and you see which one's bigger. And the 6 is bigger than the 1. So that would mean if they weren't negative, 1.63 would be bigger. But since they're negative, that means that 1.63 is farther below 0. So it's the smaller of the two numbers. So I'm going to put, you could put either one first, it doesn't matter. So negative 1.63, and I'm not going to use the decimal version. I'm going to use what it represented, the original number from the problem, negative 1 1/8. And I know that the smaller of those two numbers is negative 1.63 because it's farther below 0. So it's smaller than negative 1 1/8. The alligator is going to eat negative 1 1/8. Okay? Next problem. Put the following numbers in order. So I'm going to start by changing them all into decimals. First one already is negative 2.4. The next one would be negative 2.5. And 1 1/4 is positive, so it's 1.25. Okay, so let's go smallest to largest. The biggest one here, I'm going to go smallest to largest. The biggest one here is the only positive one, 1.25. It's always going to be bigger than the negative ones. Now, negative 2.4 and negative 2.5 are both smaller than 0. Negative 2.5 is farther below 0 because its digits are bigger. So it's the smallest one. So negative 2.5. Negative 2.4 would be next, and 1.25 is the biggest. So the alligator eats the bigger one. Remember, your inequalities need to all be going the same direction. I could reverse these all. I could do, I could put the 1.25 first and say that it is greater than negative 2.4, which is greater than negative 2.5. Just depends on which way you want to say it. Smallest to largest or largest to, or smallest to largest or largest to smallest. Okay, so now it's your turn. Do the quick check, put those numbers in order, see you at the next station.